India's shocking defeat against South Africa national cricket team in the Super 8s has triggered intense debate across the cricketing world. For a side widely regarded as one of the tournament favourites, the loss was not just unexpected, it was unsettling. The question now isn't simply about one result. It's about patterns, pressure, and whether this was a temporary stumble or a warning sign at a crucial stage of the competition. Coming into the Super 8's clash, India national cricket team looked balanced on paper. Their batting lineup carried depth, their bowling attack offered variety, and the leadership group had experience in high-stakes encounters. But cricket at this level is rarely decided on paper. It is decided in moments, small windows of opportunity where composure and clarity define outcomes. Against South Africa, India faltered in several of those key windows. The first major concern was India's batting approach. Early intent is important in modern whiteball cricket, but controlled aggression is even more vital. India's top order seemed caught between two approaches: attack early to dominate or build cautiously to preserve wickets. That indecision created vulnerability. South Africa's bowlers sensed it immediately. Instead of allowing India to settle, they maintained disciplined lines, especially in the power play, forcing riskier shots. When early wickets fell, the middle order inherited not just scoreboard pressure but psychological pressure. There was also a visible struggle against pace variations. South Africa's seamers mixed lengths cleverly, using the pitch's natural assistance without overpitching. India's batters appeared prepared for conventional pace but were repeatedly undone by cutters and hard lengths into the surface. Instead of rotating strike to break momentum, dot balls accumulated. The pressure built quietly but decisively. In T20 and high-pressure limited overs cricket, dot ball pressure often triggers collapses more than spectacular deliveries. Another tactical issue was shot selection under pressure. When rebuilding was required, India attempted high-risk boundary options instead of consolidating through singles and twos. That approach might work when chasing modest totals or batting on flat surfaces, but against a disciplined attack like South Africa's, it became counterproductive. The dismissal pattern suggested frustration rather than calculated intent. In knockout-style intensity, emotional batting rarely delivers consistent results. The middle overs proved particularly decisive. Historically, India has relied on spinners to control that phase. However, South Africa rotated strikes smartly, denying India the chance to build sustained pressure. Instead of dot ball squeezes leading to breakthroughs, India conceded singles too easily. That prevented scoreboard stagnation. The lack of control in those middle overs meant South Africa never felt suffocated. They were allowed to construct their innings without panic. Bowling strategy also deserves scrutiny. While India's pace unit started with decent discipline, field placements at crucial moments appeared reactive rather than proactive. Defensive fields were introduced earlier than expected, signaling caution. In contrast, South Africa maintained attacking fields longer, inviting risk and creating catching opportunities. Captaincy in high-pressure matches often revolves around instinct and boldness. Small defensive adjustments can subtly shift momentum in favor of the opposition. The death overs highlighted another concern. Execution under pressure has been a recurring talking point for India in major tournaments. Yorkers turned into low full tosses, slower balls were predictable, and fielders were placed slightly too square on occasions where straighter hits were anticipated. South Africa capitalized ruthlessly. Instead of containing damage, India allowed a late surge that transformed a competitive total into a challenging one. Chasing under pressure exposed further cracks. When India began their pursuit, the required rate was manageable. But early breakthroughs changed the narrative. South Africa's bowlers hunted in pairs, one building pressure, the other attacking for wickets. That coordination is the hallmark of elite tournament sides. India, on the other hand, appeared to rely more on individual brilliance than synchronized bowling plans earlier in the game. In contrast, South Africa's collective execution stood out. The mental dimension of the match cannot be ignored. Super 8's fixtures carry semi-knockout intensity. Every mistake feels amplified. India's body language at key junctures suggested tension. Misfields, overthrows, and hurried communication between fielders indicated stress. Championship-winning teams typically project calm, even when under duress. South Africa displayed that composure, particularly in crunch moments when India threatened brief comebacks. Another tactical layer worth examining is match tempo awareness. Successful chases often involve identifying one over per phase to target aggressively while maintaining strike rotation in others. India seemed to oscillate between overcaution and sudden overaggression. There was little evidence of phased targeting. Without a clear tempo blueprint, the innings never truly stabilized. Leadership decisions also came under the spotlight. Bowling changes arrived slightly late in certain phases where momentum was clearly shifting. A surprise over from a part-time option or an earlier reintroduction of a strike bowler might have altered dynamics. In elite tournaments, bold captaincy often separates close contests. While hindsight always simplifies analysis, proactive interventions were limited in this game. From South Africa's perspective, their preparation was evident. They anticipated India's strengths and targeted them strategically. Hard lengths against stroke makers, wide Yorkers to power hitters, and disciplined offside fields cut down India's scoring areas. Their batters also respected India's primary threats while maximizing scoring against secondary options. It was not flamboyant cricket, it was calculated cricket. For India, the loss raises structural questions. Is there over-reliance on the top order? Does the middle order have enough clarity and defined roles? Are bowlers equipped with adaptable plans for varying pitch conditions? Tournaments expose not just form but system robustness. If one or two players underperform, does the team still possess flexible combinations? Against South Africa, adaptability appeared limited. However, labeling this defeat as catastrophic would be premature. Elite teams often experience wake-up calls mid-tournament. The key lies in response. A setback can recalibrate focus, correct tactical blind spots, and sharpen intensity. India's campaign is not defined by one loss, it is defined by how they absorb lessons. One encouraging aspect was the glimpses of fight. There were moments when partnerships began to rebuild and bowlers created half-chances. The issue was not total dominance by South Africa but India's inability to sustain pressure across consecutive overs. Sustained excellence, not isolated brilliance, determines tournament success. Moving forward, India must address three primary areas. First, clarity in batting roles. Aggressors should commit to intent with calculated risk, while anchors must prioritize strike rotation under pressure. Second, bowling discipline in death overs must improve. Practicing Yorker execution under simulated pressure scenarios could enhance reliability. Third, leadership communication must project composure. Calmness spreads confidence through the dressing room. Fitness and fielding standards also require reinforcement. In tight contests, one dropped catch or one misfield can alter trajectory. Championship teams treat fielding as a weapon, not an afterthought. South Africa's energy in the field underscored that difference. The broader tournament context adds complexity. Other teams will now analyze India's vulnerabilities. Opponents may replicate South Africa's template: early seam pressure, disciplined middle overs, and targeted death hitting. India must therefore evolve quickly. Tactical predictability can be costly in the latter stages. Psychologically, this defeat might serve as a reminder that reputation alone cannot secure victories. Modern international cricket features razor-thin margins. Preparation depth, adaptability, and execution consistency are paramount. India possesses the talent pool and experience to rebound, but urgency is essential. Fans often react emotionally to high-profile losses, swinging between criticism and panic. Yet within dressing rooms, constructive analysis matters more than external noise. The best teams convert criticism into calibration. If India channels this setback into strategic refinement, the loss may ultimately strengthen their campaign. South Africa, meanwhile, reinforced their credentials as serious contenders. Their balance between aggression and control, their composure in tight phases, and their collective discipline signaled maturity. Matches like this are not won by accident, they are won through planning and execution alignment. As the tournament progresses, the spotlight remains firmly on India. Can they tighten their middle overs control? Can their batters manage pressure without rushing? Can the leadership group anticipate momentum swings more decisively? These are not insurmountable challenges, but they demand swift adjustment. In elite sport, narratives shift rapidly. One defeat can either unravel confidence or ignite determination. India's response in the next fixture will reveal which path they choose. The Super 8 stage is unforgiving, but it also offers redemption opportunities. Ultimately, this was more than just a bad day. It exposed areas requiring refinement. Whether it becomes a defining setback or a transformational turning point depends entirely on how India recalibrates. The tournament remains alive, and so does their opportunity to rewrite the narrative. Cricket's beauty lies in its unpredictability. Momentum can swing within a single over. If India internalizes the tactical lessons from this encounter, sharper execution, clearer roles, braver captaincy, they possess every capability to surge back stronger. But if these warning signs go unaddressed, future opponents will exploit them with equal precision. The coming matches will tell the real story.